This is the chapter 3 exercise. I'm continuing part 2. I want to go back to this statement right here, where we're talking about is the IO manip, letter I, number 1, letter I, right here. Key things I want to just point out a few things in here. If you look at the statement in your reading, you will come across what this is talking about is a statement like you have a C out. In your C out, you will have a fix, and you will have show point. You will have set position. This is what it's talking about, to 2 decimal places. Let me explain what this line of code means with this thing. So, where do you put this thing? Well, you put it after. This line goes after your allocation of memory. This line, this statement belongs after you declare, allocate, and initialize your variables. Now, what does this mean? This means that anything below this, let's take it from this point, from this line right here, set position to 2, means that you want it to, if you're doing like money, doing some currency money, and you like to round it off to have the right positions to the 100th position, meaning the 100 with the TH. There's after the decimal. After the decimal, your first position is the 10th. The next position is your 100th, which is your cent. And this you will need the IO manip precision. This show point fix pulls out from this variable called cout that you're using from here to here, requires you to use the IO manip IO stream library file. This statement right here, it's this statement that requires you to use IO manip. Okay? Clarity. Alright, so please make it clear if I ask you on the exam that cout fix show point, this is the one that requires you to use what? The IO stream library file. This part requires you to use the IO manip. Well, what does this mean? So you got this variable cout with this thing, right? So I would like for you to know, make sure this is the cout to display to the screen with this. So this is what this is talking about. In this question that you see in I, to use the manipulator fix show point, which is what I just said to you, the program does not require the inclusion of the IO manip file. So I is true. Okay. So you need to have the IO manip use this thing. Okay. So I is a true statement with this thing. So coming down here, the statement cin right sets this is wrong, sets the input to the right, because right doesn't mean this becomes a variable that you're reading. It doesn't mean that's right justified. This could be an identifier with the thing. So J is false with the thing. Look at K. To input data from a file, the program must include a header file fstream. Yes, it does need that. So K is true with this as well with it. Let's get number 2. Let me get started with you number 2 in here and kind of start you out with this thing with it. Let me see how many minutes I have here. That's right, we're doing good in time. When you look at the statement right here, when you look at the statement right here, what you see is basically, this is the input that you have. This is the input that you have is num1, num2. Let me just put this on a notepad. So right now, with the statement that I'm reading, just reading what the statement says, it says it's basically wanting you to use int is num1 and num2, right? And char is symbol. That's the data type right now. This is in between your int main. Okay, I don't have to do the whole skeleton with you. And they're asking is, what if the following input of this string of character goes inside your character? So 48, 18, an asterisk, 28, and a dollar sign. Right? Is what's coming in the line, and with these set of instruction. All right. What if any value is assigned to num1, num2, and the symbols after the following statement? Take a look at this thing. So cin, you're going to have reading in as num1, and you're going to have symbol and num2. Alright. So here's what I want you to actually start thinking about this thing. I want to introduce a concept to you that I'm going to call this kind of like a trace table. This term is not used in your book. This is new. This is how I learned programming with it. So if you did this as a Word document for me, open up a Word document, and inside your Word document, if you could for me, just open up, insert in a notepad, and if you look at what I just put in my notepad on this, is I have 1, 2, 3 identifier, 3 variables in this case. So I'm just going to insert in a table, 3 table, and just a whole bunch of rows with this thing. All right, so just do this, and this the first one's going to be called what? It's going to be num1, num2, and symbol, right? So we'll just make it simple with num1, num2, symbol, and these are defined as int and chars. Okay, so in your homework, I would like for you to do it in this manner as well. If you could for me, please, if you could on a Word document, insert in your a table. It looks like this, and call this one. Let's see, this is what number? Number 2. All right. So if you look at the statement, I'm going to put this up here, and we're going to see this thing. So the first one is going to be read in as num1. It's an int, so that becomes what? Put this on both sides of this thing so we can see. So num1 reads in as 47, right? What's num2? Let me close the space down here a little bit. Num2, you read this thing as 18, right? Oh, hang on, it's not symbol. I need to read in the symbol. So in this thing, so num2, remember now, this is symbol. It's reading in next. So your memory reading num1, that's 47. Then it reads in symbol. Symbol is a char. So char is going to be reading this. It's going to ignore the white space in this thing. So your first symbol is what? It's going to be an apostrophe 1. Okay? And what's in your num2? It's going to read in as the 8. Okay? So make sure you understand that this is what I'm trying to show you, is how this has been read in. All right? Look at the next set of instruction in this thing. It says, I want you to read in the next set of instruction. So this is like part A. What if it's cin, reading in symbol, and then num1, and then num2. Alright, so take a look at, so this is just swapped around, so this becomes what? What's your first symbol is going to be? It's going to be number 4 when symbol is reading number 4. So let me do this. So this is like, I don't know, this is line B. So the second line would be what? Symbol we read in is 4. This is your 4 here, apostrophe 4, right? And then becomes num1 is what? 7. Note, char has to be an apostrophe. All char has to be an apostrophe right here. And then reason num2 is what? Num2 is this whole 18 because it's an int. Okay, you get it? So I'm not going to do the rest for you. I just kind of start you out with this so you can actually see how this is being read in with this thing. So I'd like for you to do it, in a Word document, create a table, create columns like this. And this is how you can actually see what's inside the memory with this. And what would be really nice is if you could for me, if you go ahead and do this for me, you could for me. I want to insert in another column to the left of this thing. And I want to call this column, let's call this column 2A. Let's call this row 2B. Okay, so that way you could C to C, that way you could see all the way down, I don't know. So in this set of instruction, let's look at get. You remember what get does? Okay, get basically gets the next position coming into this thing. So look at C. Number one's what? With this set of instruction, num 1 with a semicolon reads in what? The whole 47. Right? And then it says cn, this is C, cn dot get symbol, cn dot get symbol. Where's the symbol going into the sign? Guess what? It is the space. Okay? This space right here does count like a symbol. And it reads in the next one is num 2 is what? Is your 18. So, I kind of start you out with this thing. So if you could, so do as much as you can on this thing. Okay, so finish out this rest for me. This becomes what? 2D. How many letters does that go to? D and E to E. Okay, cool. All right.